It is Wednesday, my dudes, and that brings us back once again to another episode of Velocity Lake, the theme park I am currently building in the video game Planet Coaster. Now, last episode, we started work on the Vekoma Bermuda Blitz, guys, that's the model name, coaster. And then this week, we're going to continue that project by doing something completely different. I did, mention last week that I actually in the previous weeks as well, that I have this bit of a bad habit in Planet Coaster, in that I'll start work on a project, not just see it through to the end. I kind of chop and change between a few different things. So this week, we actually didn't do any work on the Vekoma Bermuda Blitz. We did some work on the road layout to the park. I did say that I never actually showed the construction of the original roundabout for this road network, because I said that, we do end up going with a better roundabout layout, and that's what we're going to build here. So this is the construction of the roundabout. Now, for you Americans out there that might be scared and confused about what we're building here, these things are very common in the UK. I think there are a couple in the US, but I think it's very much a non-USA thing. I can't speak for how popular they are in other countries. I've seen them in mainland Europe, so I'm guessing they're just as popular in mainland Europe as they are in the UK, and indeed maybe in other countries as well, but I don't know. I'm very ignorant, and I didn't do any research prior to this commentary, in order to maintain the level of quality that you guys are used to in this series, and by that I mean very little. And yeah, I've got to keep the bar nice and low so I never disappoint anyone. That's the motto of this channel. Check out the Patreon. JK. But no, I've got nothing to really say about this roundabout. I think it's pretty realistic. I looked at a few Google Maps, as in like the satellite view of roundabouts that I know, and I tried to emulate the look of those, and I think it turned out okay. I'm still not entirely sold on this as a concept, because I don't know. I just think it's very cramped. The problem with Planet Coaster, well, one of the problems with Planet Coaster is that the map size is actually very small compared to a real-life theme park. Like, the actual car park size of this park is pretty big, but compared to an actual theme park's car park, the car park to theme park ratio of real-life parks is like 2/3 theme park, 1/3 park, is my general non-expert kind of anecdotal experience when I look at satellite imagery of parks. While the car park in this place is pretty big, it's still not that big. I did kind of mitigate this by having the monorail that goes off screen to a hypothetical cheaper car park that guests can pay a little bit less for, and they can catch the monorail in that way. But even so, the car park's still pretty unrealistic. And the same thing goes with the toll booth. You go through the toll booth and then you immediately enter the car park. Most theme parks have a big road up to the toll booth to allow a queue to form, and a bit of a big road after the toll booth as well to allow a queue to form for the car park itself. Unfortunately, like I said, Planet Coaster's map size is very small, so I've kind of had to squish everything together. So there's basically no space to queue for the toll booth for the car park, and then the toll booth leads pretty much immediately into the car park, like within a few meters. So it's not a very realistic thing, but so I am thinking about changing it, maybe just have two separate roads that disappear off the map, like two one-way roads, I should say. So one road that just takes cars away from the car park, and one road that leads cars towards the car park, and that's it. But I'm not sure. I mean, for now, it's kind of nice having this roundabout, and it is ultimately a video game. And I feel like I would be justified in saying that, look, it's realistic enough in that we have the bare bones components there. It's cramped, which isn't realistic, but I also had to work with the limitations of the game. So it's like a model, it's not really supposed to be 100% functional, just to show the bare essential components, and at least showing those components in a realistic light, even though the infrastructure around them isn't necessarily at a realistic scale. I hope you get what I'm going for there, because I don't really. I'm still on the fence about whether or not I keep this layout, but that's something we'll have to decide in the future. Right now, it is still there, and I still have no plans on changing it. The other thing I'm going to change, like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this already in a previous episode. The actual toll booth itself, the window that the person will sit at, that you pay the money to, is on the wrong side. It's on the left-hand side of the car, not the right-hand side, because this is a UK-based park, and we drive on the right in the UK. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all this episode is going to be. Basically, just the construction of this roundabout, the roads leading up to it, and then we do a little bit of work on the main entrance building, but not a huge amount, certainly not to the extent that we did a couple of episodes ago. And then next week, I did kind of introduce this video by saying that we've kind of abandoned work on the Vekoma Bermuda. I really hope it is a Vekoma Bermuda Blitz, because that's what I've been saying all commentary. I know it's Vekoma of some description, the Lech Coaster, whatever. Someone probably commented on my pronunciation of that word last episode, and I haven't uploaded that yet. So who knows? I'm just gonna have to assume, I don't know. I don't really know what my point was here. My point started out as me saying, I abandoned that. I even forgot. There was a pause there because I even forgot the point I was making in the first place, which goes to show how haphazard my commentaries are. I am still working even in clinics. I want to just justify my awfulness for a second. I am still working even in clinics in the NHS. I got back about half an hour ago, and then I spent the last half an hour editing this. So I've been working pretty much non-stop all day. I woke up at 6, and I got back at 7:30. I edited this video together, which is no small feat. I have to watch the whole thing back and cut out all the boring parts of the video, which, yeah, if this wasn't a very exciting video, empathize with my pain having to edit out a good half hour's worth of footage that wasn't entertaining enough to make the final cut. So I had to do that, and then I have to sit down and watch it all again and commentate over what is effectively one thing. So there's not really a good consistent topic I can talk about, because it's just placing pavement slabs and building a roundabout. And I've already talked about the muse for this, which is, basic roundabouts on the internet that I looked at. So, I think I'm just going to leave the rest of the commentary in silence. That'll probably be much better. I'll have some scrolling text at the bottom that just says sorry over and over and over again. What else did there be mentioned that's already happened? In terms of the road markings, I think they're realistic. I looked at a few merge points online on Google Maps, and a few roundabouts that would have a similar layout to this one. I think I got the look fairly realistic. You may have noticed for a split second, I used the garbage truck, which is one of the bigger prefab vehicles in this game, to make sure that the garbage truck could maneuver all aspects of the road without crossing over the lines at any point, and it could. So it's at least the road diameter is the right size. And I think, the general markings and overall concept of the roundabout is good. Again, it's all a little bit claustrophobic, like the road itself, so there's probably not quite enough room that there would need to be in terms of, dealing with congestion. But I feel like I've justified myself, and I think I'm pretty happy with that justification, in that I have to work to the limits of Planet Coaster. It's have a realistic car park and road network, and that be literally 2/3 of the Planet Coaster map, or compromise, have a smaller than what would realistically exist layout, and just have it sort of symbolically represent a more realistic car park. I don't know if I'm that happy with that as the answer, but that's what I'm going with so far, and it will be a long time in the future before I come back to potentially remodeling this road network. So for now, I'm considering this the final version. If it changes, it'll be many years into the future at the rate Velocity Lake is being constructed. So I hope it's not too egregious to upload the footage that you're seeing now. That's pretty much the roundabout. Oh, no, actually, there's a few. No, never mind. There's lots of. The roundabout is done, but we need to do a lot of road markings and things. So, I feel like I'm done. I'm done with talking about the road. I'm going to talk about something else. What is there to talk about? That is a good question, because my life is very uneventful, and gosh, what have I done this past 7 days? The thing is, I've recorded last week's commentary yesterday, so I already talked about my Birmingham trip that I just got back from, so I haven't got that to talk about. Do I have anything to talk about that happened today? Other than the fact that I'd already talked about it in kind of an extent. I got up at 6, did a little bit of video editing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I won't lie to you. I did a little bit of video editing, but not very much because I had to go to work. I cleaned my shower. There's some bleach in the shower right now, getting rid of some of the mold that's been building up in the cracks between the tiles. I've got some fresh pasta to eat because it's not so fresh anymore. I bought it a few days ago. It's nearing its expiry date. Probably should eat it at some point. And there's some pasta sauce as well. The jar is open. Can't leave it open too long. That needs eating. So I'm gonna have some pasta. I was about to say I'm gonna have some pasta sauce tonight, but I'm actually gonna have pasta and some pasta sauce, probably with some chicken as well. Maybe some spicy meatballs. I've got some meatballs and I got some chicken in the fridge. Basically, I'm going to check which one expires first. That's going to be the plan after this commentary is done and it's starting to render. That's it. That's my day. That's my life. Day in the life. A little insight there into my life. I haven't actually planned. I have no idea what this week's Kerbal Space Program is going to be, actually. That's another thing. That's a whole other thing I need to think about. Planet Coaster is kind of a preempted thing. Like, I have all the footage, so I kind of know what I'm going to do. I just use some of the footage and commentate over that. Kerbal Space Program is made week on week, so I'm like, oh god, it's Tuesday for me. I know I said it's Wednesday, my dudes, at the beginning. I'm sorry, I was talking for you guys. For me, it's Tuesday. It's nearly Wednesday, my dudes. By the time I've done this commentary so many times because I was never happy with the first draft, it will probably be Wednesday for me by the time I finish talking. But for now, at least, it's still Tuesday. So, but we're a good way part through the week, so I have to start thinking about what I'm going to do for my Kerbal video. Friday night, I'm busy. Saturday, I'm busy. So really, I have to. Gosh, it's now dawning on me the pressure I'm now under. I've got to film the video on Wednesday, edit the video probably on Wednesday as well, and then do the commentary for Thursday. So I'm in cahoots. I don't know what I'm going to do. Mind you, Lowne Aerospace 2, the second one, has now completed, and I'm yet to build a space station for that save file, and it's always good to have a low carbon orbit space station, actually for no reason, but it's good swag points for your space agency to have a space station somewhere, so low carbon orbit. So maybe I'll do an LKO station. My ultimate goal for, or at least somewhere I'd like to go with the new save, is to continue Life on Lathe. And by continue Life on Lathe, I mean reboot it, because I started that series before Breaking Ground was announced or out or anything like that, and us creators didn't get any insight into what any DLC would be. We didn't even know there was going to be new DLC, so I kind of did that series a bit prematurely. If I'd waited like literally a couple of weeks, I would have had way more parts that would have made the series far, far better. So I'm thinking about cutting my losses and just restarting the series using the Breaking Ground parts. I'm still waiting for the day where I watch back one of my videos before I upload it and hear myself say the words Breaking Bad DLC rather than Breaking Ground, because I've started rewatching Breaking Bad because I love that show, and my girlfriend's never seen it, and you know, I have to show her the light. So we're watching Breaking Ground again. Gosh, it was the other way around in the end. We're watching Breaking Ground again. We're watching Breaking Bad again. Well, I'm watching Breaking Bad again. She's just watching Breaking Bad. It's a good show. If you guys have never seen Breaking Bad, I would recommend it. Not many people know about it. You know, it's a very underrated, underappreciated show, I think. You know, so hopefully, if you guys have never heard of this show, which I know is going to be most of you, because it's a very, very small and niche show, I would recommend Breaking Bad. I nearly said Breaking Ground again. I know that there's going to be someone in the comments that didn't understand that sarcasm, because I'm not very good at conveying it. I admit it's probably a fault of my own. Another good show I've actually just finished watching, again, to keep it spoiler-free, is The Boys, a show which at first I really didn't want to watch because there was just so much advertisements everywhere. Reddit especially, every single Reddit ad I had was either that bloody Game of Thrones web browser game that I will never play because I don't like Game of Thrones. Sorry, everyone. I'm pretty annoyed half of you at this point. And, well, I guess it's not a controversial statement to have anymore, but even when it was at its peak, I appreciated Game of Thrones' goodness, but it just wasn't for me. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yes, I just finished watching The Boys. Anyway, long story short, it's a good show. Highly recommend The Boys if you guys want to watch a show. Basically, Red Letter Media put it the best, in that it was basically, imagine, you know, Zack Snyder's terrible vision for the DC Cinematic Universe. It's basically that, but executed well, like what it would be like if there was a Superman in real life, and indeed, you know, a Justice League. I was about to say Avengers, but it is basically the Justice League in The Boys. Very good show. I won't say any more. Like I said, I want to keep it spoiler-free, and yeah, if you want to watch a good show, I would recommend that. And I think that's pretty much the roundabout done for this episode, actually. You can see me deciding I didn't like that hedge barrier for the road that goes to the depot, so I deleted that. And I don't think I've actually done anything since. I think it is still pretty much bare tarmac on the grass, but I'll get there at some point. I think once I've finally settled on the final look of the roundabout and have committed to a specific road aesthetic, then I'll go ahead and do that. But for now, I want to leave it up in the air. Now I'm going to just do the work on the entrance building, like I said I was going to do at the beginning of this video. And it's basic stuff like you know, the doors on the entrance building are the big, goofy blue and white modern doors because they're really the only modern looking doors in this game, at least before the Ghostbusters DLC came out and added the wonderful firehouse door, I think. Not the huge ones, just the little person-sized doors. Those are added and they're fantastic. They're my favorite door in the game. I don't know why they weren't added sooner, or at least a door like that wasn't added sooner, but there we go. Better late than never, I suppose. So we're going to, I might even go back again and change all the doors we placed this episode to those. But I think, honestly, I'm pretty happy with what we ended up with. So I've got that sort of rolling shutter, like a shutter door there. I went with the big goofy blue and white door at first, but I'm pretty sure I changed it. If not for the depot, then nope, never mind. I did change it for the depot to that wooden one. Doesn't quite fit the smooth concrete aesthetic of the building, but it certainly fits it a lot better than those blue and white doors do. And then in fact, actually, that's a pet peeve of mine for Planet Coaster. Why aren't those blue and white doors colorable? Like, why can't you change the color of the blue to something else? Given that all the other doors, I think most of them at least, are colorable, it seems weird that that one door, which has a very distinctive color, isn't kind of editable. But no, there you go. I'm sure the devs had their reasons. But yeah, no, I changed them for the much more subtle wooden ones for the rest of the entrance building, because I think the wooden ones here actually do suit the entrance building, being a very, a rustic looking wooden and stone building. Those wooden doors definitely look the part, I think. And I kind of artificially extended the path between the depot and the entrance building. I say artificially because it's not really, like, functionally wise, the path is no different, but I've kind of made it look like it's a lot wider by putting those concrete slabs down. I think they're roof pieces in the game, but they serve pretty well as floor pieces as well. And you can see me going around just changing some of the other doors on the entrance building to those wooden barn style doors as well. And I think that's pretty much it in terms of things we're going to do in this episode. Oh, actually, I randomly decided that this boat needed changing. I said I have a very haphazard attitude when it comes to editing things in Planet Coaster. Well, there you go. I decided that one specific boat was not good enough. So, guys, I'm going to wrap the commentary up there, and I thought I'd give you a little preview of next episode by basically showing you the same POV that you saw at the end of last episode. But I did interrupt that POV last time, so I'm not going to do that this week. I'm going to stop talking for a second and let you enjoy the ride. And there we are, back in the station. And again, that last corner is pretty janky. That will go. And that's what we're going to do next episode, is basically finish this roller coaster. So I hope you guys look forward to that. You may have noticed on screen there are some links. On the left-hand side is a link to the full Velocity Lake playlist. And on the right-hand side was one chosen for you by YouTube's automated recommendation algorithm. There's also a link to subscribe and check out Patreon if you would like to. In the description, please check out my Instagram and Twitter and Discord, again, if you would want to. Don't have to. But thank you for watching, and goodbye.